Hello and welcome back to my channel. I want to talk today about minimalism and relationships because this is one of the most interesting things to apply minimalism to, in my opinion. And I actually disagree with a lot of what I have read and listened to. And I thought it'd be good if I could share my views with you guys in case there's anyone out there feeling similar to the way that I've been feeling. So from a lot of what I've read, people generally think that you should apply minimalistic principles to your relationships. The minimalists have a quote which is, you can't change the people around you, but you can change the people around you, to which he basically means you can't alter the people who are there, but you can get new friends. Basically saying if you don't get on with them, get new friends. But what about your old friends and your family and the people who live in your street and people who you might not give a chance to just because you assume that they're not on the same wavelength as you? The problem I have with this way of thinking is that it seems quite selfish, and I always assumed that it was kind of like next level minimalism and that I just wasn't there yet. But I've realized that other than, it's still very important to be intentional with your relationships, but in terms of getting rid of things that don't add value to your life, it's not. People have feelings, things don't have feelings. This is the problem. There is no blanket rule with people because people are constantly changing and it has to be judged case by case. I've put together a list of things that I think need to be considered if you're thinking about decluttering your relationships. And these are largely based on my experiences, so apologies if they're not entirely, can't be extrapolated particularly easily, but I thought maybe it would be helpful for someone out there. And just to be clear, this video is mainly about friendships. I plan on doing one about like partnery things soon, but this is just friendships. Number one is, yes, definitely get rid of those bad people in your life. So people who are actively trying to bring you down and actively trying to hurt you and cause you pain, people who make your life miserable and know that they're doing it, they do not deserve to be in your life. One way that I think is good of sort of determining what kind of person this is imagine telling this person that you don't want them in your life anymore. Do you feel guilty or do you feel empowered? If you feel guilty, then this person probably has some redeeming features and maybe you need to think a little bit more. If you feel empowered, then you should get rid of that person. That person is not doing anything for you. But as I said, judge it case by case. Even what I'm saying here cannot be a blanket rule. Number two is you have something amazing to teach. So minimalism has brought me so much happiness, and I don't think that that kind of happiness should be dividing people. The thing is that I've never, in my whole life, I've never intentionally set out to hurt somebody, and I've never ever considered myself a bad person. But I've cared less than I would like to admit. I've prejudged people, I've gossiped, but I have had to, I've developed some really bad habits that I had to get away from. And I really hate to think that somebody wouldn't have given me a chance just because of who I was. If there are people around you who you see as negative or toxic, then the sad truth of this is that they are not happy people. There is something wrong with their lives or the way that they are looking at their lives, and you, with your minimalistic attitudes and your detachment to social convention, you can probably help these people. And community is so undervalued, in my opinion. And also, in a lot of what I've read, people say that making friendships and relationships just based on proximity is not a very intentional way of going about it. But I think it's one of the most beautiful things about the world is that, you're interacting with people who have different beliefs and different opinions and have different backgrounds. And, the more these people you meet, the more that you learn about yourself or about other people. And it's sort of part of the rich tapestry of life. And I think sort of withdrawing from that isn't a good thing to do. I don't think minimalism should be separating us like that. My third point is that you have something to learn from these people. So a few months ago, I took a kid out of a class because he was getting very frustrated by someone else in that class to the point where he got really angry. And I basically said to him, look, this what you're doing here is the most important part. It's the most important lesson that you will learn at school, because the world is full of people who will frustrate you and who will annoy you, and you need to learn how to be patient with these people and how to not be angry and how to still treat them with respect. And it's through hanging out with people who I don't necessarily agree with that's taught me resilience and how to treat people with respect and how to speak to people who think differently to how I think. I've become really opinionated over the past couple of years because I've obviously turned vegan and became minimalist and found so much joy through through all of these things, and it's not that I wanted to push my views on other people, but I definitely wanted to share this amazing thing that I found, and because I want the people I love, to be as happy as I am. But the problem is there's no combination of words that you can give to somebody to make them just automatically believe you. They have to find these things on their own. For the first 25 years of my life, if you had, come to me and said the things that I would like to say to somebody else, there's not a chance that I would have, just automatically became happier. I needed to find that on my own. It's a journey, and I think that treating people who aren't necessarily on the same path as you with respect is acknowledging that it's a journey. You need to get good at talking to people who think differently to you, because that's how you're gonna, spread some of that joy and spread some of that happiness. And every time I meet someone who I don't really get on with, I see it as an opportunity to practice still being me and still, adhering to my values and my beliefs, but without, coming across too strong, or without, sounding like I'm criticizing the person. There's a very fine line, and it's taken me a long time to get here. Definitely when I first went vegan and minimalist, I was a bit like, listen to me, I know what I'm talking about. But you kind of have to back off a little bit and give people room to find their way on their own. My fourth point is that people generally understand. So if you have someone in your life who you're maybe spending a lot of time with, too much time than you would like with this person, and you would rather put those resources elsewhere, then communicate with them, tell them. Just say that you can't hang out with that person as often as you are currently doing because you want to start working on XYZ. The problem with cutting ties with people is that what you're basically saying is that if they need you, you're not going to be there. And that is a little bit mean. If you say to someone, look, I really want to achieve this, and that's going to require me putting this much time into that. Therefore, I'm not going to be able to see you as much, but if ever you need me, I'm still entirely there for you. That, that's going to take a lot for someone to take badly. If they don't understand it, then they're not worth your time, but you have to give them the opportunity to come through. My fifth point is to consider whether it's just that the relationship isn't adding value right now. So if you're happy and things are going well and everything's all nice and smooth and just swimming along nicely, then the likelihood is that you're not going to value your relationships as much as you will when you truly need those people, when you feel alone, when something terrible has happened and your friends come through for you. And this isn't the same as saying, what if I need it later, about a scarf or plate. This is very different. Life can turn very, very quickly, and there's one thing that I've learned, it's that your true friends will come through for you when you really need them, and they know that if ever they really need you, that you'll be there for them. That's sometimes just what a friendship is, and that's totally fine. And it's not just selfishly, keeping someone hanging until you need them. It's community and it's a network. It's how humans have survived this long. And my final point is when we have a relationship that starts to just sort of like fade away. Should we revive it, or should we just let it die? Relationships just sometimes naturally run their course, and that's fine. I don't think there's any real need to bring it up. The thing to remember is that us humans are just, we don't know why we're here, and we're just trying to make the best of it. It's the same, everyone is in that same situation. There's no point in defining someone as, as a friend or an acquaintance or a colleague, or there's no need to put people in these boxes, because then you'll have to take them out of these boxes. We're all just people, just meeting other people and getting on with other people better than we do other people. Relationships aren't property, they're not yours to own, but your time is. So definitely control your time. That I completely agree with in terms of minimalism. Control your time. It's the most valuable resource you have, but relationships don't really require control in the same way. Unless, of course, it's someone who is harming you, and therefore, keep yourself safe, definitely. So they are my views on minimalism and relationships, and they're completely based on my own experiences, so I understand if it doesn't apply to everybody. But I definitely think that we can't just apply, decluttering techniques to relationships, because it's too complicated an issue. I'm very lucky in that I have an amazing group of friends who don't really ask much of me, and we're basically just a bunch of introverts who love each other. And I understand that not everyone has that, which is why I was saying that it really does need to be judged case by case. Don't put yourself in the way of harm, but do give people the opportunity to become their best selves, just as you would hope they would do for you. So thank you very much for watching, and please feel free to subscribe and also to follow me on my Instagram, because I'm going to Bali in 2 days and I'm very excited, and I'm going to be sort of documenting a lot of that on my Instagram. I won't be taking my laptop, so there's going to be 2 weeks without videos, but I'm going to spend a lot of that time planning content and working out, you know, things that I'd like to share with you, and it's very exciting time when I get back. Thank you very much for subscribing, and thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Oh, also, I'm doing a Q&A before I go in my last video, so if you have any questions, please leave them below in the comments, and I will see you very shortly. Have a lovely day. Goodbye.